Welcome back, folks, to World of Warships Legends. I'm Soopa-Dave, and today's build and play guide is on the West Virginia 44, the poor man's California. I know that I'm about to make a lot of people irritated, okay? Or I'm guessing I am. I don't know. This is literally just came out, so I don't know what people are saying with this, but I'm assuming a lot of people are going to like this thing. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is a poor man's California. Hear me out, right? But this is a little bit different in the beginning of the video before we get in the build and play guide, right? Before people just go chucking their money at this thing. This is West Virginia, right? The original version of it. Okay? Notice that it's a little narrower. It's a dreadnought, but and look at the body lines, right? This is West Virginia in 44, where they added the torpedo protection and the AA. This silhouette, right? It's thicker, and look at this silhouette. Both of them things should remind you of something. Yes, you already heard me say it, so you guys cheated. But I noticed this right away. This is a California. The body lines are exactly the same. Now, I know what you're saying. They're 16-inch guns, right? Okay, this is kind of going to be a rough one for me here, guys. I don't mind West Virginia at tier 5, right? It's a decent ship. What happens is when you take them guns and you put them on California at tier 6, right? And I do mean this as a poor man's California, because California is at tier 5. And what does California have better? Even though it doesn't have 16-inch guns, it's got more accurate guns, it's got more of them, it's got better AA. It's at tier 5, so it's not going up against tier 7 stuff, in which right now is a historic problem because we have the Chekhov in every match, but the one you guys are going to see today, I had to go against the Chekhov in West Virginia. And so it basically is a California with a slightly better heel with worse guns, in my opinion. And why would I say that? You have more guns, they're more accurate on California. And the thing that makes West Virginia's guns so good at tier 6 is at tier 5 is you overmatch everything, right? West Virginia, when you get to this and you're going to tier 16-inch guns at tier 6 means so much less now. And especially without accuracy, and when you're going up against tier 7s, which a lot of them you don't overmatch anymore, outside of Constellation and a few others, it just becomes very unimpressive. And that's sad because I do like West Virginia. This thing is like, you're going to take the worst about California and you're going to take the worst stuff about West Virginia. You're going to put them on a ship. And then you're like, oh, here's tier 6. Go to tier 6, guys. You know, it's big. I love California. It's my favorite tier 5 ship. But it's big. And when you get to tier 6 and 7 where they're more accurate, this thing takes a pounding. Now, it can take a pounding. I'll give it that. Let's get, instead of my ranting here, let's get into the stats. Now, I did put the exact same commanders on them just to check the stats on them. So when I talk to you, because there's no information out there on this thing right now, it just came out for me. So there's no information that I could find. So everything is based off of what I could see. We're using William Sims. I did have, like I said, I put New Jersey on both of them just to check the stats. For William Sims inspirations, we're using John Fisher and Pablo D. Ravel. Now, if I was only building a commander for West Virginia, I would 100% go with either Cunningham or Dispersion or Scharnhorst over Fisher. Getting some more accuracy out of this thing would be really good. Okay, these 16-inch guns without plotting room, Americans don't get it till tier 7. Wildly inconsistent, just like West Virginia. But man, when you get them to hit, they hit. But our skills here: flammable cannoneer, gyrating drill bits, marksmanship, reaching out XXL, fight fire with fire. All right, so for your upgrades, we're using AA to boost the AA. It does have decent AA on here because you can't take aiming systems mod 1 because it's American. Propulsion mod 2. It is a dreadnought. There is another thing we're going to talk about here with the turning circle in a second. You could take the rudder on it if you wanted. I would also understand that. Concealment is always in the last slot. Now, for your consumables, you have 3 pretty respectable heals. They're solid, okay? There's one good thing about this ship. Does have decent heals. I will give it that. And I will say the defensive AA, if you're not going off against a Chekhov, which right now is really broken, it's not bad, right? It's solid. But a Chekhov right now it's dropping bombs before it gets to you. Everybody knows the Chekhov problem right now. And that's what I've had to deal with today. So, because I faced one in every match but one today. In the two matches, I didn't have a Chekhov today between this and the Picardy, which I really do like that ship. If you guys haven't seen, check out that guide. So that defensive AA bonus I do like, but outside of the consumables, that's where the fun ends with me on this ship. It has 64,000 health. It's about, I think it's 60 or 62 without sims. If you're comparing it directly, heads up to the original West Virginia. And with sims, it helps it a little bit, but it's kind of at the lower end of health. Reasonable torpedo reduction. And the guns, okay? When I saw that they were slightly different, they were 45 calibers, I was a little ecstatic till I looked at the stats. These things are exactly the same, okay? Now it's going to be different because I have different commanders on them right now, but they are the same HE damage, the same AP damage, everything's essentially the same other than this one has a 0.4 longer distance on it. So, AA defense, it is not bad with having the build here. It is pretty solid. I've been in carrier matches, but like I said, it doesn't matter with the Chekhovs. But this thing is reasonable. It's slightly worse in California, very similar to California, obviously. Slightly worse AA when you compare them heads up, but again, pretty decent. But again, you're at tier 6, not tier 5. That's kind of why I'm calling it a poor man's California. Also, all of a sudden, because you put torpedo bulges on the ship, it can't turn anymore. The turning circle on this, 750. The turning circle on this is 670. And you lose all of, see here, you lose your rudder shift time, right? So now it's all of a sudden 15 seconds. So all of a sudden this thing cannot steer like it used to, which is a little counterintuitive because normally when you make a ship longer, like Iowa is longer than a dreadnought, that's when your turning circle gets bigger. It's generally to do with length to width. Okay, like the Americans with the Iowa went the 8-to-1 ratio to maximize speed. It was the fastest battleship in the world, obviously. But here you can see it got wider, and all of a sudden it can't turn. It's a weird thing for me that Warships did. 12-3, decent, respectable. It's a battleship, though. You're not sneaking up on a dead moose in open water. Now, that being said, here are the stats in it. Now, do I think this is a bad ship? No, it's okay at the tier. Like, it's respectable. But to me, I would much rather just be at tier 5 with West Virginia or California. Now, to be fair, a little bit soured because of what I had to go up against. The carriers, the Chekhov carriers, 3 matches with it. And I really couldn't do much. I got focused most of the time because apparently everybody, now that they see the ship is out, they wanted to test the AA, assumed it was as bad as the regular West Virginia, and versus Chekhov it is, but other carriers, it'll be pretty solid. So I had 2 matches where I didn't really do much. One of them, I only got 17,000 damage because I just couldn't hit anything before I died. My match... my main gun accuracy after my first match was something like 18% or something, or 20. Now, that frustrated me, almost didn't play it again. Glad I did because it is balanced out to be just essentially West Virginia. It has the exact same main gun accuracy as West Virginia on mine, 32%, so it's below average for me on a battleship. And also, I will say this is a pretty tanky ship like California. You can see even with dying earlier to carriers, I've averaged 1.1 million. The match you're going to see is the match where I had 2 million. And no, so the match I'm showing you guys isn't because I like found them. I didn't cherry pick a match. I found a match that kind of showed off what the ship was like, and I wanted to be out of the ship. It has been not fun with the carriers, obviously, today. Here's your armor, and just like the original California and West Virginia, anything over 14 inches overmatches you. Take off the torpedo bulge. Like I said, this is a West Virginia, or this is like a California. It's essentially a California. You're gonna get a lot of pins. You have a lot more superstructure now, uh, and it can be a little bit more difficult. The nice thing is on the back, like California, you have a little bit better deck plating, but that is about it. As we start the match, it's disclaimer time. This is a beginner's video meant to help people new to the ship or new to the game. This is not meant for professional gamers that know everything there is to know about everything in the universe. There are multiple ways to play and build this ship, and I am an above average player, not the world's best. I make mistakes. You may see one in this match. You didn't come here for pronunciations. I'm as good as anybody at slaughtering beautiful languages all the time. With that out of the way, we are at Shattered. And like I said, this thing just came out. I have no idea what people are going to say about this. I'm assuming a lot of people are going to love this ship just because it's got the name West Virginia on it. But there's so many of the things that make West Virginia not good or decent at tier 5 that make it not nearly as good at tier 6. One of them being the dang speed, and you're going to see it come into play into this match. Now, I love Kansas and Minnesota. That's what I was hoping this thing was going to be. When I seen it was California with 16-inch guns, I'm like, okay, yes, I got Kansas and Minnesota at tier 6. Them are among my favorite battleships in the entire game. Minnesota probably, it might be. It's really close. With that being said, it gets a lot of downsides of California and West Virginia. So you have the inconsistency of the guns like West Virginia, but now you're at tier 6 where you're going against, as a whole, more accurate ships in general, particularly with the cruisers. And also you have a much bigger hull now with them torpedo bulges and extra AA like California, but you're at tier 6 now, meaning a lot more stuff. Having played in a lot of matches today that were tier 7 with this, you notice a little difference definitely with that California hull going against tier 7s than you do at tier 6s. Also, the speed, I love dreadnoughts and I don't mind having slow speed. At tier 6, 19 is just a little too rough. It just is. And you got to be careful. Like here, I'm pushing up a little bit, but at the same time, if you push up too far, in American Dreadnought, this is one thing I talk about, you have to be very careful with your spacing. You are going to have a world of hurt, okay? But you can see I have shot and I have hit absolutely basically nothing with this thing so far. Are you going to get decent salvos out of it? Yes. Are you going to get trolley salvos out of it? Yes. The guns are just West Virginia. Whatever you think West Virginia is with a little bit longer accuracy, that's what you're getting. Can you absolutely get an amazing salvo and just absolutely wreck anything? Yes. Is it going to happen often? Probably not. But I know it sounds like I hate the ship. It's not that I hate the ship. It's just my expectations of playing it, I thought were going to be different, even though they shouldn't be. you know, this is really just a California. Like I said, I couldn't make it. This is a poor man's California. It's a California with West Virginia guns, and you slap it at tier 6 and you give it a little bit better heal, and you say, oh yeah, hey, it's got a better heal and a little bit more health. Also, it does have 5.5 secondaries, and it doesn't mean anything. I just noticed right away when I was looking at it, it said secondary reach, so I got a little bit excited about possibly having a Minnesota, a Kansas in Minnesota field with secondaries at tier 6. Then it didn't. Secondaries at 5.5 are not worth building into. It might be funny for a match or two, but I got a feeling it'll lose its luster because if you don't build into the accuracy, I'm sure these guns won't hit the broadside of a mountain. So, but anyway, that being said, you can see their team is completely pushing up on this side or the other side of the flank. And I put myself in the middle here to push up because we just haven't had much resistance. And like I said, you got to be careful, particularly in this ship. On any of the ships at Dreadnoughts, right? Because of the speed at the tier, this is a one ship where you want to be careful you do not over push. Because it's going to take you a while with this bad turning circle for this ship to get turned around. And you... and now it's not a terrible turning circle, but compared to what the West Virginia is, it's much worse. And it'll take you a while to get turned around or back up because it's not very quick. So make sure you're putting yourself in good positions. That's the one thing I would say with this thing. And because of the instant consistency of the guns, you're going to see me aim a little higher than you would normally. Obviously, it's an American battleship, so there's plunging fire anyway. But just because I want my shells to hit, and you can see that helps me a little bit in the accuracy in this game. But overall, would I say get this ship? I would say no. I don't like telling people to buy stuff or not buy stuff, but this is one time where Wargaming was like, we're just gonna slap this together and throw it out for tier 6. I feel anyway. That's just my opinion. People might have way different opinions of this thing than me, but I feel if they're looking at it very objectively and based off of everything you can see about the ship and whatnot, this is a little disappointing. I will say the heals are pretty decent, and you're gonna see in this match I take a lot of heat from the enemy team. This is the 2 million potential added damage game. But you can see, I know I have to go back to defend this cap. I wanted to go get their cap. The problem is here, guys, I don't have the speed to go do that, okay? So I have to stay here and try to defend ours, and there's not much I can do about it. I know our cap is getting swarmed. If I try to go for their base, which I was thinking about, I'm not going to make it in time. Whereas right here, or if I head back towards cap, I can reach a lot of these guys. So you're going to see me here in a second make the change, and I'm going to head back to our cap. Our team, I don't know what happened to that right flank, but it was not good. To be fair to them, they basically had everybody come through that way. And you can see we're on fire, but overall, not in a world of hurt right now. I will say I was kind of waiting for people to come out of this side, and they just never did. And I think that is one of the reasons our team just got waffle stomped on that other side. So then that's not a rip on them. It looks like they just got overwhelmed. And we're going to go ahead. You can see I'm taking my turn back, and we're going to do our best. But you can see, again, we're not hitting a whole lot in this match. It's getting better now that I'm up a lot closer to these ships. But again, when you're doing that, you got to be careful. Now, I take 4 shells over to Saipan, where I think we're only going to hit like 1, which is disappointing because it's a carrier. It wasn't like he was dodging excessively. But anyway, we're going to be careful of these secondary ships. We've kind of taken heat from the other Scharnhorst, but we're going to work on whittling them down because they're just sitting in our cap, stopping points, and that's going to be huge. Look at that shot. That's the problem I have West Virginia. Stuff like that happens at 9 kilometers. That one shell hit, but the other shells were literally on vacation to Europe. Instead of actually hitting them. But we're going to go ahead. We're trying to get back here in a position where we can defend the cap well and not put ourselves at huge risk. And you can see, even though we're not having the world's best accuracy, it's not terrible either. We're just, nobody's going flat broadside until this point here to us. And we're going to overpin the Scharnhorst. Speaking of that, I know some people are going to be like, well, the Scharnhorst came out. Well, at least Scharnhorst got good secondaries and an above average fire chance on them to make it a little different. I guess this is kind of unique being a California with 16-inch guns. I mean, I guess that is unique. But that being said, I would much rather have it at Tier 5. I feel like this feels more at Tier 5 than it does at 6. It feels a little underwhelming at Tier 6. I don't think it's bad at Tier 6. I just feel like it'd be strong at Tier 5, and it's a little underwhelming at Tier 6. But am I going to get it when it comes out? I'd like to say no, but I think being that I have a tendency to collect all the American, or all the ships that I can, particularly American World War II battleships, I might get it. But I probably won't play it a whole lot. Honestly, at Tier 6, if a person was looking for a battleship, I don't know. There's some decent options out there, but they're all pretty equal at Tier 6. There's nothing that stands out crazy. Maybe Hood seems pretty decent, I guess. But anyway, we're going to take some shots off at Colorado. With this ship, guys, if you get near somebody, you can absolutely wreck them. Or if you get lucky on a long-distance Savile, you can. But these are the loftier 16-inch guns, not like Iowa where they're a little flatter. They're still lofty, but they're a little... Iowa has a little flatter trajectory. You do want to be, in my opinion, aiming a little bit higher, as you can see here, as West Virginia. Even though he doesn't look super angled, he's definitely angled enough, so we're going to go up high, and we do some damage that way. If I aimed at his belt line, we probably weren't going to be doing a whole lot there, to be honest with you. And sorry, guys, I am also still sick. I'm doing my best here, but starting to lose my voice. That being said, this Carcassonne here is going to be a pain in the rump a little bit. Alright, I totally understand he's here, and I know at this point it's basically a suicide mission to try to keep... Maybe there's a chance our battleship can cap their base, because he's going to get in there with 3 minutes to go. And maybe there's a chance I could keep these guys annoyed and keep them away from... capping our base. That was my thought process. I have no other option. If we're going to win the game, this is the only way I can. Do my best to hold these guys off. We're going to get rid of Scharnhorst here. And we're going to go ahead and push up. And we're, obviously we're against 4 battleships and a carrier. So it's not like this is going to probably end super well for me. But again, I had to try. We're going to take a shot. But you can see, I've been holding up pretty well to this team, though. And we're going to take a shot at West Virginia. And we're going to take one at Colorado. Now, as you can see here, we do a little bit of damage. And we are holding them off. But we know that Caracciolo is sitting there. And you're just going to get chunked in this thing. Anyway, like I said, don't know what people are going to say about this ship. I don't know. I think it'll be torn. I think there'll be people that think like I do, and I think the people will be like, oh, it's the West Virginia, it's amazing. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think of this ship down in the comments if you've played it. And even though we lost, we did really try to help our team out. 1,500 a game and a loss at Tier 6 really is pretty solid. But anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time, folks. Have a good one.